Ho ho ho! Season's greetings everybody, and today we have OB39, which is the Christmas patch for Paladins, and we've been teased mainly with a new set of skins, and they come from a special festive chest. Let's get to the big one first, the Evie Merry Maker skin. Basically, she looks like she's come straight out of a Christmas store. She's got red like peppermint leggings, her gun is actually like a peppermint stick with gingerbread on the end. I think they on the stream they were calling it cookies on the Hi-Rez developers stream, but that's not the way that we call it gingerbread in the UK, but maybe that's just a localized thing. Either way, the red and the green really look nice together, and this is going to be something of a great skin. It's actually an epic level skin, and you'll have a chance to get the whole thing in the chests. It's also got some VFX, or the animations basically. The ice block turns you into a present. This is pretty ridiculous. And if the bug still exists where you sometimes turn into the ice cube forever, let's hope that you're not a present flying around the map, because that would be quite hard to hit. Just thinking outside the box here, but it does look cool and it's quite funny. The blasts are also snowflakes, but they don't look that different to what they were before. However, there's also some S effects, or the sound effects, and it's like the normal saw, but has sleigh bells as well, so like a jingle bell sort of thing as it goes by, and you hear it before the Eevee kills you. Anyway, that was a Merrymaker, and I think probably the best skin that is coming. But then we also have the Kanessa Beanie. It's just a nice little beanie hat for Kinessa, why not? It makes her look a bit more snug, like she doesn't want to cover up her midriff, so on ice mines and things like that she's probably pretty cold. Also, Barrack's got like a coloured blunderbuss. I don't think it looks that great, it's just a normal sort of skin over the weapon. Charlin's got some baubles on his weapon, and then it's got like a candy cane theme, and the arrow is like a candy cane, which I think looks a bit better, looks pretty cool. And the Grover has snowballs with Christmas lights in them. This one is pretty epic. Apparently you can use this on top of having the frost elements as well, because it basically goes over the body. It's a header element. Another one that's really cool is Makoa's getting a snowball gun. They do love Makoa, and I think I do too. So the snowball cannon fires out snowballs and generally looks quite Christmassy with a bit of ice on the bottom of it. This one is one of my favourites, to be honest. Pep has like another one that's just a skin over the top, like a wrapping paper skin. It's a bit meh. And also, finally, Androxus gets antlers and a silly nose. This one is quite ridiculous, especially how like dark and edgy Androxus normally is. Now he can just relax and be a bit more silly. It's definitely what I'm going to put on my Androxus if I get it. I know there's some kickback to chests in games, especially as they sort of appeal to your gambling side, and they might cost less and you might have the chance to get everything you want in like 3 rolls, but at the end of the day, a lot of the time people end up spending more than they probably would have done getting the same items that they could have bought one off. I don't know how many people it actually puts off having it in a chest rather than having the full set to buy. Might be interesting if people let me know in the comment section below how they feel about chests in games. Do you find it okay? I mean, it's really popular. I mean, lots of people watch people opening chests in games. Like I know in CSGO, like lots of Twitch streamers, they literally just, all they do is sit there and open like 100 chests, and that's all they do, and people like that. So I know I can see where they're coming from, but at the same time, I personally am not 100% for chests. I wasn't that fussed about them in Overwatch, I'm not that fussed about them in Paladins, although I do realise that it's a festive season, and it might just be a one-off, and we've got a festive chest, so there we are. Anyway, just thought I'd bring up this point, as it's quite an interesting topic in sort of general gaming at the moment, like the whole idea of gambling and things like that, but hey, it's a whole different topic. Anyway, let's get on to the naughty and the nice list. Basically, the characters that have been buffed, they've been in Santa's good books, and the characters that are going to get nerfed because they've been very naughty indeed. But anyway, let's get on with the naughty list first of all. So Fernando, probably the number 1 tank. You think tank in the game at the moment, frontliner, you think Fernando. Well, actually, they've slightly nerfed him at the moment, so 5,700 to 5,500 HP base. It's not a massive drop, but it could be that extra shot, or especially from something like Victor or somebody else, it's a few seconds of sustained fire. The movement speed has been dropped from 365 to 360. That's actually the same as Makoa and all of the other frontliners, so it's not like a massive nerf, it's just bringing them in line with the other tankers. Fernando's shield has also seen itself get a nerf, with its base cooldown going from 7 seconds to 9 seconds, and basically the cooldown is lowered dynamically on how much damage that shield has taken. The less damage, the shorter the cooldown will be. So if you've taken loads of damage and your shield's done loads of work in a fight, then it'll actually take closer to the full base cooldown. But this little increase is going to mean that the shield has to be thought about when it's going to be used. When do you actually need it? Actually, good Fernandos use their shield when they're about to die, basically because a lot of the cards also heal you if you're on low health, and things like that. So I don't think it's going to have a massive impact on the usual Fernando pickers and the ones that are quite accustomed to him. But again, it's bringing him in line with all of the other frontliners at the moment. Talking about frontliners, Makoa has also got a buff. Basically, his cannon damage is going from 600 to 650 damage. That's an extra 50 damage. That's at the maximum distance, which isn't too far away from you. It's only a few meters in front of you. But that will also buff the Ancient Rage, the anchor you swing around to that 650 damage. So basically you're just doing more damage in general, and this is very good for the people that play Makoa, including myself, as it will reward you getting those hooks on, bringing people in close to you, and basically shooting them to death with your cannonballs. At the moment it does feel that you don't hit hard enough in games, and it's often frustrating if you drag somebody over, you get loads of hits on them, and to see the HP tick down so slowly. I know it's not a massive buff, but this is definitely very welcome, especially for me as somebody that when I play a frontliner I play Makoa because, well, Makoa's awesome, the hook's awesome, and he's a giant turtle. It's fantastic. This is definitely the buff that I wanted for Christmas. Kinessa's also got a buff. Kinessa's one of the champions at the moment that unless you're amazing, you pretty much look at your team and you're like, oh no, we've got Kinessa, because most flankers can take them out pretty easily, and they're pretty much nullified for a lot of the game, and they also can't get on the point because they're so squishy, and they do less damage the closer they are, unless they're ridiculous shots. So what they've done is reduce the cooldown on the transporter, the translocate, from 12 to 10 seconds. I mean, it's not a massive buff again, it's just a nice little extra push for her, and basically it gives her more mobility, which is one step to sort of dodging those flankers and being more mobile around the map, and maybe getting into points, getting out of points when she needs to. So this is very welcomed, and maybe I'll be playing a bit more Kinessa now, because before it was a bit frustrating to play her, and obviously frustrating for the team if you couldn't get completely into the action, or do enough damage, or you just get picked off by the flankers straight away. Meld Ember, one of my favourite supports at the moment, is also getting a slight buff. Basically the HP is going from 2500 to 2600. It's not a lot, it could just be the difference between a longer range shot taking you out, and it gives you a bit more sustain on your own heal, on your gourd. I guess it's a nice little touch because Meld Ember has such a short escape ability, it doesn't go very far, and the only heal that you can do to yourself is on the gourd on the floor. But I do think that with the stun, you can sustain yourself quite well, but on your own you're not a massive threat to enemies, you just want to be with your team most of the time. Yeah, Meld Ember's definitely growing on me at the moment, and a nice little buff is very appreciated, so that's another happy Christmas present I'm really happy about. Ying has also got a nerf, and basically the card Carry On, which makes the duration of the illusions last longer, is being reduced from 3, 6, 9, 12 to 1, 2, 3, 4, basically the extra duration. At the moment, as I play Ying, I basically drop down illusions all the time. I'm always putting them down where they're best, and basically either shattering them and throwing at other people when the cooldown is ready to put down another one for the damage as well as the heal, or basically I'm repositioning and getting another one somewhere closer or in a place where I can use it as cover. And basically as an active Ying, you want to be using them all the time anyway, and the duration doesn't matter too much. So I don't think this is a massive nerf, but for people that are maybe a bit more active or using the illusions to escape with, as if they don't last very long, you can't really jump back to one further away from the battle, might have a bit of an impact on that. But for me it's not a massive nerf, but we'll just have to see how that pans out. But this is the start of quite a few cards that they're tweaking, and the second one is Eevee's wormhole card. Now this is a big one. I love Eevee and I love the wormhole card, but basically they're changing it from 2, 4, 8 and 10 seconds to 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's quite a big nerf. I used to use level 1 and then I moved on to level 2 to have the 4 seconds, as level 1 gave you enough to get a shot or two off, but it often wasn't enough to do a lot of damage and then get away. And basically at the moment, if you had the higher levels, it meant you could jump out and then wait for your passive heal to come in, kick in, and then heal up whilst you waited and then jump back in again. So it's not going to have a massive effect on people that didn't use it that way, but had the shorter versions. But what it'll mean is that you'll have to get rid of either your healing or your distance travelled by the blink to get that in line with everything else, because the normal card decks at the moment had level 1 of the 2 extra cards, usually looking at the saw, and then they had the maximum distance on the blink, and they also had the maximum heal, which was like 300 health each time that you blinked. So it's a nerf to Eevee, who is really annoying in the right person's hands, but she isn't actually that strong. I mean, she's got so little health. If she gets caught out or she missteps, she is pretty much dead. And the reason why she's so effective in a lot of games is because people buy Haven instead of Blast Shields, because she is either the only person that's got blast damage, or one of two people. Maybe the enemy team's got a Drogos, maybe they got a Fernando, but the enemy team isn't actually countering the blast damage for that game. I don't think that inherently Eevee is overpowered. She's basically the master of mobility, but at the same time is a squishy indeed, very squishy. But I don't know how I feel about that. I do think that the wormhole card was pretty ridiculous in the fact how important it is in the build. Like, this is the card that makes Eevee at the moment. And maybe wormhole just needed to be implemented into her as like a passive, and then having a card separately to buff it slightly. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it pans out in live, and obviously our card builds are going to have to be tweaked to match it, and I don't know. Maybe the statistics on Hi-Rez show that she has a massive high win rate, but I feel that when I go against most Eevees, only like the very best are any good. And the majority, if they got bad aim, and if they've not got the 100% movement down, then they can easily be picked off. Buck's also got a nerf, folks. Basically, his heroic leap doesn't slow people anymore when you land it. And actually, this is one where they're basically saying that he's already got 1 slow in his net, his right click ability, but they don't want to have 2 and be like bloating the slow. But the thing is that heroic leap is one of the more satisfying abilities in the game, and slowing people once you land it is rather fun. In some ways, I'd prefer this as a slow over the right click net, even though it's a skill shot and it's quite hard, or otherwise maybe buffing the slow on the net, because I don't know whether this is going to really hurt Buck in his current state. Buck has the highest health of a flanker, 3,000 health. That's more than Barrack has at the moment, 2,900. So he is quite beefy, but also is very easy to hit. And because he has a heal, that's part of his build integrally, that heal can be countered by Cauterize. So I feel Buck can often be nullified in a lot of games, and even though out of check, in more casual games, he might be able to go wrecking the backlines. He isn't massively overpowered. I don't feel that he is one of the most powerful characters in the game at the moment. That hand that card to Androxus or Cassie or Fernando, which has been nerfed. So I don't know about this one. What do you all think about it? Do you think it's going too far? And yeah, that's all of the buffs and nerfs, by the way. They have got some bug fixes, but I'm going to leave those out. Now we know who's gotten the coal and who's gotten the nice presents for Christmas. Which ones do you think are right and which ones do you think are wrong? Or do you think that they're all right, and do you think that maybe they're not gone far enough in some of the buffs or some of the nerfs? Be sure to let me know in the comments section below. Are you looking forward to the chests? Do you think that they're a good thing, or would you rather be able to buy the skins separately? Be sure to let me know in the comment section as well. Anyway, hopefully I'll be ready to play on the public test server at some point soon, and maybe I'll get another video out then. And hopefully Hi-Rez will give me some stuff to give away for the Christmas giveaway, and maybe get one for myself, because I do love playing Eevee. Alyssa, I can confirm, folks, there is no Tyra. There's no extra champion information. I know people are going to be gutted, but that's just how it is. Come on, folks, let's pick it for this next champion to come out soon. We want the champion now. That's the patch out of the way. Thank you all very much for watching. If you thought it was a good video, give it a like. If you thought it was rubbish, give it a dislike. Subscribe for more of my content. And thank you all very much for watching. Until next time, everybody, Joshino